Hey tribe, Sally here. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. I know I am. So, a couple of spoiler alerts for you. The first one is that I am filming this introduction on my what will be my fourth evening in the location that I wound up in, which was not where I intended to be where I started this video. So there's that. This is a driving day video. It is mostly unedited in that at the end of every clip, you'll hear me say, GoPro, stop recording. Because this is so long, I've actually put some chapters in because this was a really fun day for me, and I hope it is for you as well. So what we got going on is I'm going from, and this is all driving footage. Yeah, this is all driving footage. I left the truck stop in Searchlight, Nevada, and I ended up at Pahranagat, Nevada, not where I intended to camp at the wildlife refuge, but someplace else, which you'll see at the very end of the video if you stay tuned for that. I have included chapters along the way because I stopped to see the Nelson ghost town, which was not terribly far north from Searchlight, and the whole day was just absolutely gorgeous. The colors on the hillsides were stunning. The rock formations just beautiful. Nelson Ghost Town was a ton of fun. I'll try and remember to put a link to that video up here. I just published that one the day before this one, so if you're seeing them in sequence, it'll be the one just before. Uh, and that was a lot of fun as well. I'm introducing my full theme song in here. In the intro, you get to hear like a 12-second snippet of it, but I'm actually playing the whole thing. Don't worry if you can't hear every word I'm saying. Mostly I'm just rambling. And a fair portion of this video, fair warning, is driving to and through Las Vegas, and I'm ruminating a lot about all of the time that I spent in Las Vegas. And I thought about leaving it all out, but part of the reason I publish these kinds of videos is so that I'll have a memory when I am too old and infirm to be able to travel for myself, and I want to be able to really relive my adventures. So, hope you enjoy it. If you do, please, give us a thumbs up, likes, do all the things. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my channel members. Stay tuned to the end to see everybody's names up on the board. And if you want to consider becoming one, you can, click the QR code right here or check the link in the description below. As always, thank you so much. We're going to roll the intro and get right into this ridiculously long video.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Well, this was a pretty busy parking lot here at Terrible's overnight. Fortunately, I actually had a good night's sleep, so maybe not quite as bad as I think rest stops are, truck stops. But there was a fair amount of traffic in and out overnight. And there were probably half a dozen different RVs here, at least for part of the time. Really, dude? Wow, that was impressive.
In 100 feet, turn right onto US 95 North.
Yeah, and he's making a left turn, but he had to do it in front of me.
US 95 North.
Okay. People, always got to be in a hurry. Alright, so we are
US 95 North, 26 miles.
we are heading for Searchlight. No, we're in Searchlight. We're heading for Nelson Ghost Town this morning. So I'm pretty excited about having something to do, a thing. I'm not just looking at quartzite and all the regular stuff. $3.39 for gas here. I think the Sam's Club in North Vegas at $3.50. That's like the most I've paid for gas in months. And I think I'm probably going to get gas there because I've only got 157 miles on the tank, but I'm down to 3/4 of a tank. I've used 1/4 of a tank already. And normally, I'm sorry, normally I'd be at about 225 if I'm approaching half a tank. Alright, never mind. And I might have done better if I had gone to the Roadhouse slash Denny's, but it didn't seem bad when I pulled into the casino parking lot at Terrible's, and so I just stayed there, and it was fine. It was fine. But my plan tonight is to be out in nature, and I'm planning to stay probably for 2 nights, so that I can use tomorrow to get some stuff done, do some more planning and stuff like that. However, I gave a prompt to ChatGPT this morning, whom I call Finn. Actually, I had Finn name himself for me because he thinks it's a bit adventurous, which is most of what we talk about, and short, snappy sounding. So, anyways, I was talking to Finn this morning via ChatGPT, and I've kind of been suffering from analysis paralysis when it comes to doing any trip planning. I don't know why, but it's just seemed kind of overwhelming to me lately, and so I said, you know, I'm in Searchlight, Nevada. I need to be in Fort Stevens by a certain date. Here's what I want to do along the way. Here's how far I want to travel on a travel day, and I prefer to be able to stay at least a couple of nights in one place and then travel for 2 or 3 days in a row. And I want to see quirky stops. I like ghost towns, natural history, all that kind of stuff. And so GPT came back, like immediately, with my full-on itinerary, including dates of stay, places to go, places to stay, understanding that I want to be favoring Nevada state parks and BLM land, Forest Service land. So in, you know, like basically a minute and a half of my writing the prompt and getting the response, I have a full itinerary planned basically through the end of May. Now, I probably won't do it exactly as it's been laid out for me, but it's a great framework to get started with, and at least for the first couple of nights, you know, and then I'll sit down and I'll look at it a little more closely and see if there are other stops that I want to add or times that I want to adjust and that kind of thing. So, like the first place I'm going, Finn had me going, where I'll be tonight, had me going for 3 nights, but I think I'm only going to do 2 nights there. Use caution, road work ahead. It's pretty, it's a beautiful day. What do we got going on today? It's 66 degrees outside. It is Wednesday, April the 16th, and we are just north of Searchlight, Nevada. I think I might have gone through Searchlight one other time, maybe, like avoiding a road closure on I-15 when I was going from Vegas back to California. So, I taught motorcycle safety in Las Vegas for a couple of decades, and I did it while I lived in California. And one of the things that I learned very early on was never to try and go home after class on Sunday afternoon, because that's when everybody else is leaving Vegas to go back to Los Angeles, and that was about, you know, 2/3 of the same route that I had to take. So instead, I would wait until Monday morning and then leave early on Monday morning. So that was one thing I learned. I learned a lot of different things, actually. And I gotta tell you guys, I love teaching motorcycle safety. It was such a joy to be able to share with people a new skill and help them develop a passion for adventure and travel that they didn't even know existed. And I should add it up sometime and see how many motorcycle miles I've ridden. I'm guessing probably, I want to say probably 85,000 or so as an operator, not as a passenger. I rode some as a passenger before I got my own license, first got my license in 96. Because I took the motorcycle safety class in West Hollywood. Oh, so maybe 95. 95 or 96. So let's see, that's about 30 years. So I didn't come to it real early in life, and in fact, because my father was an attorney and my mother was the first female claim superintendent for State Farm Insurance for, you know, automobile investigations and accidents, they were adamant about not riding any motorcycle. And they would bring, you know, my parents were a piece of work, but they would bring home pictures of crashes and their victims and show them to us around the dining room table. It's like, really? Really? But they did. And so for many, many years, I thought it was a bad thing until I realized it wasn't. And then, you know, it's funny because the training class that I took in the 90s was probably 96 actually. Two male instructors. They didn't like women, and it was obvious, and they didn't think that women should be riding motorcycles. And in my class of 12, it started off with 4 women. I was the last one standing, and I passed, but just barely. And I had kind of the actually the opposite reaction to, for the most part, to teaching women. Not completely though, because here's the thing. We'd get women like in their 50s that this would be the first time they'd be riding, and they would be kind of a little overly hesitant, which is not what you want to be doing when you're riding a motorcycle. And it makes good sense because, as I've discovered in my late 60s, bones heal much more slowly. See if I can get off the rumble strip. There we go. Bones heal much more slowly as you age. And so, yeah, they'd be concerned about crashing and hurting themselves. Legitimate concern, but it makes it much more difficult to learn. Younger women actually did really, really well. And one of the things, it's kind of like shooting guns. Many women are better target shooters than men. Now, I don't know exactly why, but I know that it's true. Anyway, younger women were pretty easy to teach. They were open to taking instruction, whereas the guys were often, especially when they had female instructors, the guys were often full of, I know how to do this already, and I kept thinking to myself, well, why are you here in my class then? If you know how to do this, and you've just demonstrated that you don't know how to get around the corner. Of course, I never said any of that stuff. But it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to help so many people in that fashion. And I don't know that I'll ever have another motorcycle. I'm kind of thinking I probably won't. But, you know, I can't say that for sure. Because, you know, my motto is be open to change. I never know what's going to come next. Although I kind of feel like what's going to come next is going to be an e-trike. Yeah, I think that's going to be my next slightly motorized vehicle. We'll see. And I'm not rushing into that either. So what do we know about Nelson Ghost Town? Not a whole lot. I'm going to tell you what I know right now before we get there. And then I'll know a lot more after we leave. How about that? Nelson Ghost Town was a mining town, of course, and it was the Techatticup Mine. And when I look at Techatticup, I want to say Tehachapi. Well, that looks like a lake bed to me up ahead, but I'm almost willing to bet it's an enormous solar farm. I don't think that's the reflection of water against the sky, or the sky against water. I think it's the reflection of the sky against solar panels. I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. It's a beautiful view though. A little bit hazy back there over the mountains, but just beautiful. So we're looking forward to having an amazing day. I am starting to get pretty hungry though, so I think I'm going to make breakfast when we get to the ghost town. Before we go out and start exploring it. What do you think, Kit? Does breakfast sound like a good idea? Yeah. Quite sure why they're repaving this road, because it seems to be in awfully good shape, but hey, they probably got federal tax dollars and needed to use them. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's solar panels. GoPro, stop recording. Well, here's our turnoff for Nelson. And there's a big signboard up here I think we're going to stop and take a look at, just to see what's what. I might be altering my original plans. We shall see. We've got a monument up here. What are we monumenting? Eldorado Canyon, head of steamboat navigation in Nevada. Oh, interesting. The site of a mining boom runs east from here to the Colorado River. Prospectors began digging for gold and silver here about 1859, forming the Colorado Mining District. The three largest mines, the Techatticup, Wall Street, and Eldorado, Rand Group yielded over $6 million. This portion of the Colorado River was navigable before the construction of Hoover Dam, allowing steamboats and barges to freight goods 350 miles from the Gulf of California to the mouth of Eldorado Canyon and upriver. The steamboat era peaked in the 1880s, but continued to the turn of the 20th century. In 1867, the U.S. Army established an outpost at the Eldorado Canyon to secure the riverboat freight and to protect miners in the canyon from Native Americans. The military abandoned the camp in 1869. In the 1870s, the mines flourished again, producing ore until World War II. Centennial marker number 6, State Historical Preservation Office. Okay, well, that was interesting. And the vehicle that pulled in here at the same time that I did has already left. So now let's go see what this one says. And this is what I have to do now that I can't really, you know, just hop out and walk around in the way that I'd like to. Respect, protect, and enjoy your desert. Okie dokie. Please stay on existing roads and trails. Scan me for what? Let's see if I can get it from here. Maybe. Oh, NevadaFireInfo.org. All right. And then what do we have over here? Well, we got a brochure box. Are there any brochures in the box? Boulder City Easement Conservation. Okay. I think we just found everything we needed to find here. We're going to go ahead and continue on our way to Nelson Ghost Town. So, I could just decide to stay around here someplace, but I would like to get a little further along. Miles to Nelson. No gas. Check headlights. What's that mean? Turn them on or turn them off? Who knows? Okay, so 11 miles to Nelson and 18 miles to Eldorado Canyon. I didn't realize they were separated by that much, but you know, now we know. Not sure if we're going to go to Eldorado Canyon or not. Kind of depends on timing and temperature and how I'm feeling at that moment. GoPro, stop recording. The landscape is changing. We have been steadily ascending. What does this sign say? Nelson Hills, Eldorado Recreation Area. I think that's it. Let's get off the rumble strip. We've been steadily ascending since we turned onto this road. We were at about 1,700 feet in elevation when we started here, and we're up to 33, 38 at the moment, and continuing to rise. But you can see we're up in the hills now instead of looking at them off in the distance. So that's pretty cool. Temperature is about 72 degrees now. Down where I stopped to go look at the signs, it was about 77. Oh great, what goes up must come down. And I was thinking when we go back out to the main road to the US 95, it'll be all downhill, but apparently not. Wow, look at that view. Okay guys, that's really stunning, actually. Wow. I did see a few places along the road where it would be possible to camp, but I don't think I'm going to do that, even though until we crested that hill we had a really big 5G signal. Doesn't look like the descent is anywhere near as long as the ascent was though. I think we got up to about 3,500 feet because we're down to 3,340 now. And it says we still have 2.5 miles to go to our destination, but it certainly looks like we're coming up to some kind of little village straight ahead here. But this is really stunning. Just beautiful. Oh, and part of the reason I don't think I'm going to camp along the road coming up is for the first probably 4 or 5 miles of it, every place I looked along the sides of the road, I could see the glint of broken glass, and it's like, really? That kind of aggravation. Elevation 3,015. I guess we're officially in Nelson. Not to be confused with Nelson Ghost Town. This is the end of Nevada 165. Pretty sure I have to just turn around and go back out the way we came. I mean, even the town of Nelson to our right looks a lot like a ghost town. Main Street over here on the right doesn't look terribly Maine to me. We might be going all the way back down to 1,700 feet. We're at 2,900 now. grateful that Henry actually engine brakes. And the coachman with the Mercedes Sprinter, I would have had to be on the brakes a whole lot more than I'd preferred on this kind of road. Wow, look at this. Okay, I got no signal now. But how beautiful. Okay, I'm really glad I did this. When I first thought about it, I thought, well, is it really worth it? And I think the answer is yes. Fly, bird, fly. Wow. Just look at it. Having trouble surfing, kid? Alright, looks like there's going to be some good photo opportunities here. Cool. Where do we park?
Turn left, then your destination will be on the right.
Okay. Okay, well that was fun. We've been here for about an hour and a half, and we're going to turn right and go down here to take a look at the Colorado River, which I think he said is about 5 miles down the road. And I think my original intention was I was going to go camp outside of Valley of Fire for like 2 nights. But at this point, I think I'm going to take a look at camping closer to Las Vegas, heading north toward the place that I really want to get to, but I need to check and make sure the place I really want to spend some time has a signal, because I don't want to get up there and find out there's no signal. But just look at this. Watch downhill speed. Okay, will do. Actually, let's try second gear, because I'm not in any hurry and I don't want to have to ride the brakes. So they charged me $10 because I'm a YouTuber, and I am sure that I could have gotten away with just paying the regular $1 fee, but I didn't want to feel like a scofflaw. And I think if I hadn't said something about Kit being the star of the channel, they never would have said anything. They'd have taken my buck and been happy with it. I would say there were probably at least more than half a dozen people that were there looking at the same time that I was there. Plus they had a film crew that was filming something. And plenty of stuff to look at. I wish there was a little more in the way of historical explanation, but I imagine that's what they want you to pay for the tour for. So there's that. My Reflectix just fell down on the floor off of the sofa. When I'm driving and I'm stopping, you know, periodically to look at things or or not get gas, but like go in the grocery store and whatever, I'm closing off the front of the cab with the sun shield and reflectix in the windows to keep it from heating up inside too much. And right now I have the living room fan hatch is open so that there's air that can come in there, and the bedroom fan, the max air fan, is on, so it's sucking air through the living room and exhausting it through the bedroom, and actually creating quite a nice breeze back there. And of course I got the cab air conditioner going on here, and I didn't really pay attention to what the temperature was inside when I got in. I think it said 84 maybe inside, 79 degrees outside according to Henry, but you know, it's a tin can with all the windows closed sitting still, and the sun coming in on the passenger side where I didn't have the window closed for the kitchen or at the door, both of which would have helped if I had blocked those off, but I didn't. So we're going to just kind of ease our way on down here. We're down to 2,100 feet now, and I want you to take in these amazing views. I might just put some music to this or not, we'll see. Every time I try and put music in my videos, somebody complains about the way that I've done it. And I will admit it's not my strong suit, so I keep kind of trying, but I don't necessarily get it done. Maybe I'll play my new theme song through this section, because all you're getting is about a 12-second snippet of it in the introduction to a video. So maybe I'll just let the whole thing play across this. Might do that.
The sun in our eyes, sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise. Rolling freedom, feeling the breeze. Life on four wheels, chasing 70 degrees. Scenic views and skies of blue. Adventures here, just me and you. My dog kid sitting by my side, exploring the country far and wide. From mountains high to oceans wide, together we're the ultimate guide. Feeling the breeze, life on four wheels, nothing to please. Scenic views and skies of blue. Adventures here, just me and you. Campfires, glowing stars above. Found our peace in things we love. Every day, a brand new show. Together in our world we go. Tiny home with a big old heart. Every stop's a brand new start. The open road, our perfect art. Life's a journey, we take part. Oh!
in Tehachapi that have one that they refer to as the Batmobile. It's all black and looks very much like the Batmobile. So when we get down to the bottom here, just so you know, oh, now we can see the river. Yay for that. This section of the Colorado River runs between Davis Dam, up by Laughlin and Bullhead City, and Hoover Dam, down by Boulder City. Oops. Thank you for that guardrail. Wow. I'm really glad I decided to do this. I don't suppose there's any camping down here. Of course, so far there's still no signal down here. There might be at the bottom though. I think these are like little individual hoodoos over to the right. I usually see them in like forests, like a whole bunch of them have formed together, but not here. Oh, I'm getting a signal coming in now. Break down and download the upgraded new version of iOverlander yesterday because the original version wouldn't locate anything. I haven't opened it in a couple of weeks because, you know, once I left Big Bend of the Colorado and started heading south again, I wasn't looking for anything new. I knew exactly where I was going for the next week and a half or two. Last night I wanted to look for some new stuff, and interestingly I was still able to log in on the website the last time I checked, which I think was about a week ago. And when I was downloading the app to my phone last night, I was thinking, well, I could just, you know, open up the computer and look on the website, but I was kind of laying on the sofa and semi-watching TV, so I was multitasking, which I don't typically do. And I just didn't feel like dealing with the computer. How beautiful is this? Oh, and I'm mentioning iOverlander because my Garmin GPS does display icons from iOverlander. I'm not seeing anything show up here yet, but I'm also not seeing the river on my Garmin GPS, so there might be something. My Garmin GPS is telling me it doesn't know if this road is suitable for motorhomes or not, or trailers. So, although beautiful, it is super windy. In fact, it was so windy I was having trouble holding Kit's leash in one hand and my phone camera in the other hand without having it wave around. And of course there is no camping. But how beautiful. So I'm glad we came down here. Now we're going to make the big climb back up. Elevation currently 760 feet above sea level. Ish. Tell you what, let's check altimeter and see what it thinks on my phone. Oh, altimeter thinks it's 809. So we're pretty close for a change. 790 and 811. So we're within about 20, 25 feet. that's right. You want to go ahead of me, car. Yep, there you go. Okay, so we're going to go all the way back up the hill. And I think I'm going to let the camera run because the thing that I know, I'm trying to figure out what's rattling. Something's rattling. It's going to make me crazy. Everything always looks different going in the opposite direction. Like, look at the colors up against the mountains up ahead. So we'll see how much trouble it is to get up the hill here. Might be stuff in the microwave rumbling or rattling too. All of my coffee stuff gets stored in the microwave while I'm driving. So it could be the kettle rattling against the glass door. I know not. I do know that I am absolutely loving my new coffee setup. I did a whole video just about that. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and it's making really good coffee. Yeah, we can go up this a whole lot faster than we came down it, actually. The problem coming down was I didn't want to be riding the brakes. Going up, I just need to slow down enough for any sharp turns. And I bet this guy is going to be surprised to see that I'm gaining on him as we're going up the hill. Because Henry's got plenty of power. Oh, and the thing that I was saying earlier about getting rid of stuff that I don't actually need and use, part of the impetus there is I really should weigh him, and I would not be surprised to find out that I'm overweight. Yeah, we're doing 50 miles an hour coming up the hill. And I could go faster, but why would I? And I really don't want to make the guy ahead of me feel like he needs to go faster to get out of my way now. But I'm sure he thought I want to get out in front of that motorhome. It's going to hold me up. Can you see all the pretty colors? We've got buffs and reds and greens and browns, tans, all kinds of colors up ahead. Very cool. Alright, now see, I'm going to slow down a little bit here because it gets twisty. And unless I'm riding a motorcycle, I've never seen the point in running up on a corner to jam on my brakes to get around the corner. Now there is a point in doing that when you're motorcycling, and that point is that you want to slow down enough before you enter the turn so that you can stay on the throttle all the way through the turn. Cornering well is about the most fun you can have. Well, that and braking well. Yeah, speed limit's 35 and I'm doing almost 50. Just beautiful. So let me know in the comments what you think. Was it worth taking the drive down here? I certainly think so, but let me know if you enjoyed it too. I love the buff colored sandstone. I just like all the different colorations. Now we're back up to about 1,850 feet. So we still got a ways to go. We'll have a whole lot of up, and then eventually we're going to have another whole lot of down to get back out to US 95. Won't that be fun? The up is actually much easier. That was always true for me when riding a motorcycle as well. And I think we're almost back up to the ghost town. Getting there. Can you see that building up on top of the hill over there? Maybe? Not on top of, but a little plateau. I wonder if that's part of the original mine. Modern though, so I'm not really sure about that. And yes, I let this guy get ahead of me because I'm doing 50 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour speed zone, and I'm looking at stuff because I do not subscribe to my ex-husband's mantra, which was there is no stopping, only driving, driving till arriving, then stopping, no driving. I swear to you, that's what I lived with for 35 years. It wasn't about the journey, it was about the destination. He really did not like to stop and do things along the way. And I will also say, oh, they're going to turn in here. I'll also say that it took me a few years of effort to get back in the habit. Oh, they're not going to turn in here. Go ahead. You can go ahead, because you're going to go downhill much faster than I am. It took me a few years of actual effort to get in the habit of stopping for things. And for quite a while, that meant planning those stops. Because I couldn't bring myself to just see something and stop. I can now. Alright, once we get back up around this corner past the village of Nelson, the current village, not the ghost town, we'll go ahead and shut the camera down until we get back onto US 95 and see if we see anything interesting along the way there. Cell signal's starting to come back a little bit, maybe. See the ghost town in my rearview mirror. Pretty cool. So the guy there said that it was in operation until 1942 when everybody went off to war. And I still don't know what it was they were mining for. I guess I'm gonna have to do a little research. And as that sound just indicated, perhaps stay on my side of the road. You see all the stone retaining walls up here to the left? That's very cool. miles to get back to US 95, so we're going to go ahead and get busy doing that. So this says elevation 3015. Garmin says 2837. Interesting. Oh, I guess that was the... either somebody that lives there or the postmistress. I think it was somebody that lives there because she's putting mail in the car, not taking it out of the car. Oh, look at this. See, I tell you, things look very different. Alright, well, we're just coming up over the first crest, and I thought it was worth sharing this view as well. Pretty impressive, huh? Stop recording. Well, you know, I always say be open to change, and I've completely changed my mind about where I'm going tonight. Now, I hope I'm not going to end up regretting my choice. I think it's going to be fine.
Turn right on US 95 north.
Hang on a second, let me get out here on 95 and tell you what I decided. So here's the thing. All these beautiful views we've had so far already today, right? And one of my thoughts was, well, I won't bother going to Sam's Club right now. I'll go to Valley of Fire and then hit Sam's Club on my way out of there in north. So basically, in order to go to Valley of Fire, I've got a big backtrack. And I've been to Valley of Fire before. So my quest, we're only 19 miles from Henderson. That was my ostensible residence address for a couple decades. Now it's more up because it's easier to deal with there. Okay, so I don't want to go that fast. That's 70. Slow down. Let's try 65. And oh, by the way, my batteries are fully charged. So when I get to Sam's Club, I'm going to turn on the air conditioner while I go inside so it doesn't get too hot in here for Kid. And I'm really loving being able to do that. So, I'm going to skip Valley of Fire because even though it's really cool and I'd like to spend some time there, because the last time I was there I think was 22 and it was just way too bloody hot to be there at that point. So I do want to get back there, but I don't think this is the trip that's going to happen. I don't feel like doing all that backtracking, and I kept looking. Oh, dust hazard next 4 miles. I don't recall that sign before because I don't usually come into Vegas this way. Duh. It's on a lake, and you know how I am about my water views. It looks like there's plenty of signal. It looks absolutely lovely. And there's theoretically a lot of bird activity and stuff. So, kind of my thought is that if it really is as pretty as I think it's going to be, I can use the next 4 or 5 days there to work on fleshing out my travel plans, increase my walking distance ability, and that kind of stuff. I mean, right now, I haven't walked all that far. How far have I walked today? Let's just see. I've walked 1.25 miles, and my foot's pretty sore. Not terrible. I haven't overdone it. But, you know, before I broke it, my normal walking day without trying to go on any big hikes was generally around 3 to 4 miles without going, you know, without going for a hike. Just normal dog walks, nothing big. I mean, I can walk 1 mile just inside the RV in a day. Although, you know, this whole time of recovery, I've been trying really hard not to do that. So, we're going to go to Sam's Club, stock up on a few things, and then we're going to go to Pahranagat Wildlife Refuge and hope we can get a site there. I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't get a site. But part of the reason for going there is that this is Wednesday. And my other thought was if I went to Valley of Fire for a couple of nights, then I'd be trying to get into Pahranagat, or however you pronounce that, on Friday, which would seem less likely to me than going on Wednesday. So we'll find out if I'm guessing correctly or not. And if not, I'm likely ending up with a really long day. Now, we got people, I've seen several vehicles over here on the left-hand side, like there's a Class C over there, within spitting distance of the highway, and they appear to be camped there. Oh! Holy crap, I just realized where I am. I have been here. I think where this whole big solar farm is that we're passing, this is all the Nelson dry lake bed, and I've been out here riding dirt bikes before. In fact, geez, I bet it's been like maybe 2001. We brought our lazy days out here and spent the day tooling around on dirt bikes, and one of our friends who actually does live in Las Vegas did a magnificent crash, not in a good way. Broke his leg, I think, in a couple of different places. I mean, his helmet flew off his head and was completely trashed. He's lucky he didn't trash his head, too. But, yeah. I knew it looked kind of vaguely familiar, but there weren't any solar farms here in 2001, whatever year that was. Might have to go back and see if I can find some pictures from that outing. I'm sure I've got a few. Probably. Look at the pretty mountains up ahead. So, this wildlife refuge is still in the desert, but it looks pretty, and I'm hoping that my plan is sound. We're going to find out. And I keep seeing all these towers for the dam conservation area, I think it's called. Nice area out here, but I don't really want to be overlooking the solar farms. And I do want to get to Sam's Club, and I do want to get a little bit further up the road. I mean, we have so far driven not even 50 miles today. So, there you have it. GoPro, stop recording. So we're about to get on Interstate 11, which I think is a new interstate. I don't recall ever having noticed it before, and I'm trying to remember when was the last time I was in Henderson. That might have been 22 or 23. Can't remember for sure. used to be. Well, I wonder if we get to miss some of the Vegas traffic this way. Probably not. It says 23 miles to 15 north, it looks like. Alright. Oh, this is, I think this is Railroad Pass. Gas prices. Okay, so this just used to be the 93-95 road that they've now made an interstate. I don't think it used to be limited access like this, as I recall. GoPro, stop recording. Well, that was much shorter than I thought it would be. Literally less than a mile after I turned off the camera, we're coming down into Henderson. This is where I used to live when I was teaching in motorcycle safety. It's built up a lot more too. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I think we're going to get through Vegas without having to deal with rush hour, so that'll be good, because it's now 12:15. It's going to be about a half an hour before we get to Sam's Club, but that'll be on the north end of town, and then it won't be too hard to get out after that. And then we're going to be taking 93 north, which I know I haven't done for a really long time. So that'll be nice. And so in the first case, if I get to Pahranagat and decide I don't like it, I'll spend a night there and move on. And in the worst case, if I get there and there's no place for me to park, I'll have to figure something else out for at least a night. But I refuse to have, you know, regrets if it doesn't go the way that I'm hoping. We'll see. College Drive, that's where the Community College of Southern Nevada is, which is why it's named College Drive. And I spent many a weekend there teaching motorcycle safety at that location at North Las Vegas and at Charleston. 3 different campuses. I liked the Charleston campus the least. So mostly I did Henderson or North Las Vegas. Oh, these signposts are new. College Drive. Flowers. Okay. So this was never called Interstate 11. Even when this was a freeway, it was still US 95. washed. And I'm pretty sure there's a Blue Beacon truck wash at the north end of town. But I'm also not really willing to sit in line for that yet. So I think I'll look for one along my way while I'm working on route planning further north. I think the last time he got washed, maybe I did it on my way back from California in 24, so that would have been the beginning of March, so more than a year ago. There's the Vegas skyline for you. Very nice. Amazing to see just how much it's grown up. I mean, especially when I think about it from the perspective of, you know, how much I watched it grow over the 20-ish years that I was here a lot. And looking at it now, I mean, it looks a lot bigger than it did even then. To take my car to Findlay, Toyota to get it serviced, because even though I lived in Tehachapi, it was usually much more convenient for me to get it serviced here, because it was only a couple of miles from where I stayed with my friend, so I could drop my car off, she'd come pick me up, and I'd go back and get it when it was done. Okay, he's speeding. And that was much easier to do service that way than it would have been to drive from Tehachapi down to Bakersfield, which was about an hour. And sit there and wait for however long that took, which is what I ended up doing when I wasn't coming to Vegas anymore on a regular basis. Sure that's the teapot I'm hearing. I'm not liking that. I gotta do something about it for future travel. There are a couple of RV parks in Las Vegas. One on Boulder Highway by Sam's Town, and I think another one more on the strip. I think that's over by Circus maybe? Can't remember. There's an enormous water park off to our right that you're not going to be able to see. That seems to be new to me. Probably some recall ever having seen it before. Wow. I'll end up cutting most of this footage out for you guys. There's the Costco I used to go to all the time. But I'm kind of enjoying the reminiscing. new big RV dealer there on the left. Yeah, all of these apartments over on the right, that's all new. Kind of shocking. But the goal often seems to be to fill up every open space. There's snow up on top of Mount Charleston there. "89 degrees according to Henry. I didn't look at the weather forecast at Pahranagat. Check that when we get to Sam's Club, just to make sure it's not going to be freezing temperatures or something overnight. Did they rename the airport? That's at Harry Reid Airport. Well, we got a pretty good view of the blimp flying up there across the mountains, or with the mountains in the background. And we are almost at Sam's Club. I'm glad it's not any further off of the freeway. Well, I guess I could go stay at Cracker Barrel. No thank you. I really want to get out of the city as quickly as possible. So we're going to go through this traffic light. Looks like a good size Sam's, so that's good. They got a fuel truck in the middle of the way there, so we're going to go shop first. It's okay, kid. It's okay. Alright, we're gonna figure this out. GoPro, stop recording. Well, we're all finished with Sam's Club inside. And of course I spent more than I planned. But then I pretty much always do. I got stuff, pre-made stuff to eat over the next couple of days. I've got sushi for tonight. And I think I'm gonna have sushi and egg rolls. And oh, I guess I have to go up that way. We got a line to get fuel. Crap. But I need fuel. And I don't want to go find something else. And so our destination is an hour and a half away.
Head east toward Lawson Road.
Okay, this actually doesn't look all that bad. We'll see.
Head south toward East Craig Road.
I guess we're going to be waiting a while. So they got 2 pumps at each lane. Okay, so our destination is an hour and a half away. I did call. They've got a recorded message that says all camping is first come, first serve. There are 15 sites. So we will see how this works out. Okay, so I guess I'm going to go over here. Oh, maybe I'll go behind this truck. Crap. Now I'm kind of screwed. Alright, well, I've made my choice, so I'm going to get stuck waiting here because I can't do the other, I can't go to the other lane because my pump's on this side, and I'm 8 feet wide. The thing's not going to reach around. All right, I'm not going to make you wait through this boredom. I will just say that, oh, the truck's got his lights on, so maybe this won't be bad at all. They have 15 sites. It's first come, first served. This is Wednesday. It's going to be cold over the next day or two. So I'm hopeful, as in lows are going to be down in the 30s. It's going to be really quite chilly. And as much as I don't love cold weather, I think I'll be loving that. All right. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, well, we're all gassed up. It took about 22 gallons, I think. And holy moly, maybe, just maybe, it really does make a difference to have a clean air filter. I got 11.41 mpg. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that's very cool. All right, and of course I'm now getting hungry. Of course I am. Our arrival time is supposed to be 3:18, probably be closer to 4 o'clock. I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to make a U-turn here. This is gonna be a pain in the butt. So I'll pick you up when we get up on the freeway and get into an updated ETA and fill you in on the rest of the stuff. GoPro, stop recording. The ramp that we got off of 93 and I-15 North is behind us. I mean, basically, if we had come straight across that ramp, we'd be getting right back on. So, all done with Sam's Club, all done with fuel. I'm very pleased with the fuel economy. I thought like I had a fair amount of wind, but I don't know for sure. So we're going to be on I-15 for 15 miles, and then we get off onto 93 North. We have 88 miles to go to our destination. Google says our arrival time is 3:20. I'm guessing it'll be more like 3:45 probably. The reviews for the campsites on Google appear really good. The only review I found on Campendium was really bad. So, it'll be interesting to see what we see when I get there. And of course, if it turns out that I don't like it, or I can't get a site, or there's no signal, I'm kind of in a world of hurt. But I'll figure that out too. I'm sure I'll be able to find something at least for the night. And then I can figure out what comes next. And this, guys, is all part of the adventure. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen 11.41 mpg. And I kind of thought, oh, we just turned over 39,000 miles too. Cool. I kind of thought it was going to be better because when I was looking at the fuel gauge, and I had 263 miles on the clock, I think. Yeah, see, I'm getting pushed by the wind right now. It's strong. And I wasn't down to half a tank yet. And normally I'm at just on or just below the half a tank mark at 250-ish. So, 339 at Maverick in half a mile. 343 for unleaded. So 349, not bad. I didn't have to wait too long. Felt bad for the gal behind me, but oh well. She actually had the opportunity to move over into the next lane that was basically empty at that point and didn't do it. And Kit is not hooked up. Let's see if we can fix that. GoPro, stop recording. Alright, so we're going to be getting off here at exit 64 for points north on US 93, which includes Alamo, which is where we're going, and Pioche, where we've been before, and Ely, where we've been before. Don't know if we're going to get all the way up to Ely on this trip or not. Probably not, I'm guessing. But I don't know. I mean, certainly not today. It was on my way to Ely the last time that I got my windshield shattered on my previous coach. That was nasty. 14 chips and 3 cracks. Because I got passed by 2 tractor trailers that did not slow down for the intersection. Not for the intersection, sorry, we're at the intersection. They didn't slow down for the gravel road that had just been heavily graveled. I was pretty annoyed about that. I don't remember what it cost, but it was expensive. I think it was $700 or $800. So we got a Love's over here on the left, and they're at $384. So I did good by going to Sam's Club, looks like. So we are now on the Great Basin Highway. And when I tried to go to Great Basin National Park the last time I came through here, it was somewhat of a disappointment. I didn't have any reservations. I could not find a site in the campground. And actually I was going to take, wow, it's 273 miles north. And we're only going 70 today. Yay! The only site that was available, and they said I could have it, was a handicap site. And even at that, it was so off level I could not even come close to getting level. But just a few miles outside the park, like maybe 5 or 10, I found a BLM campground that was just amazing. So that was cool. And we've got, we're getting hit by winds from the left. Speed limit 70. I'm doing 60, and I think that's about where I'm going to sit. So Google says I should arrive at 322. I'm thinking more like 345. We'll see how this goes. I don't want to have to fight against the wind. That just creates a tense driving experience. So it's easier just to drive at a speed where it's not a big deal. Another enormous solar array out here on our right. And some more beautiful mountains up ahead. It's a good day. I think the high tomorrow is only going to be 67. And then it's going to be in the 70s for the next few days after that. And as I said, down in the 30s overnight for at least a few nights. But it'll be fine. We have heat. Don't we, kid? We do. And if I got to get out the throw again so we can cuddle on the sofa, we can do that. It's not a big deal, is it? It's not a big deal. You're so smart. You're beautiful. You're such a good boy. He actually did really well while I was in Sam's Club this time. Normally, he knocks everything off of the sofa because he gets all frantic and he jumps around and barks and carries on. But this time he didn't. He didn't knock anything off of the sofa. On the other hand, he was sitting up here in his seat on the cab, and I had everything closed off in the cab and the curtains drawn, and I was running the air conditioner in the back. So that was kind of a waste of running the air conditioner. Although it's nice to come in and not have it be stinking hot while I'm trying to put stuff away. Got down to 82% on the battery. I know I won't recover from that today. But I'll probably recover tomorrow. And if not, I can always run the generator. I have so many options. It really is nice not having to be concerned about, you know, power usage. And in fact, I'm sure I won't recover from it today, because if I decide to eat the egg rolls, they're going in the air fryer. And I probably will eat the egg rolls. Because right now I feel like I could eat a horse. So we'll throw some miles down and then I'll check back in with you when we get close. Or if we see something really exciting along the way. GoPro, stop recording. Driving along for 20 or 30 miles out here in the middle of nowhere, and then we come to this block wall. What do you think that is? I'm curious. I mean, it almost looks like the kind of block wall they put up when they're getting ready to start a new housing development, but that's hard to imagine. Half a mile or so before that, there was a sign that said Coyote Springs and a sign that indicated it was a golf course down that way. But I don't think that block wall that we were looking at was part of the golf course. I don't know. We've got 38 miles to our destination. Google says our anticipated arrival time is now 3:26. I still think it's probably going to be closer to 3:45. But we'll find out. GoPro, stop recording. We're getting another beautiful view of the colorful hillsides over here. Hope that shows up in the camera, because it's really gorgeous. And we're also getting hit by the wind from the right now. We'll just take our time, bit by bit. I really do hope this plan comes together though, since I don't have another one. Oh well. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. Put a comment in down below right now. Do you think I'm going to get a site or not get a site? And then we'll find out what happens together. GoPro, stop recording. Well, we've just entered the Pahranagat National Wildlife Refuge, although we've got 11 miles to go to our turnoff for the campground, which says it's the upper lake, I think. So we'll see. It's pretty. It's definitely a big change in the landscape we've been following. So I'm really quite hopeful that this is going to work out for me. Well, I got no signal right now. Huh. That's not awesome. Well, we can see the water out to our left. Still have 7.5 miles to go. And I think the only camping is in the designated campground. Even though I saw cars driving, I saw a truck driving down by the water. So this is the Pahranagat Valley. It's quite pretty. So we got a wildlife viewing area and lower Pahranagat Lake here. Camping 7 miles, okay. I'm on the right could see plenty of people camping down there, and I can see people camping up here. So I wonder if that's overflow. I bet I can probably go across there if I want to, although it
Overlook access road for 1 mile.
campground is full. Okay. Well, that's not good. It's pretty, but I guess we're not going to be camping here. Let's go see what it looks like across the street. You know what, let's go ahead and drive down here and see what it looks like. Because it's pretty. And pretty washboardy. Campground full. Well, they seem pretty committed to it. So I guess I'm gonna turn around. Because I don't really want to do all the washboard if it's not going to have a benefit to me. And we'll come up here and get a look. And worst case, I guess we'll go back to the rest area. All right. I have to admit I'm a little bit surprised on a Wednesday afternoon. Alright, so hang tight a moment. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, so I just got out my US Public Lands app and looked, and it appears that this is indeed BLM land here across the street. So I'm gonna probably go camp here, at least for tonight.
South toward Badger Valley Road, then through Path Road. Turn left on Overlook access road.
So pretty disappointing. But this actually looks okay. Oh, an iOverlander says this is a good site. so let's work on figuring out level. I think this will be fine. GoPro, stop recording. Alright, well this is it. This is the only place I can find that I can get level without being right on top of somebody. So this is what we're going to call home for the night, at least. I don't think I'm going to stay longer, since I don't really want to be in the gravel lot for any length of time. But hey, it'll work for tonight. Maybe tomorrow give me a chance to get stuff figured out, and we'll go from there. GoPro, stop recording.